Hey, it's day 7. I forgot to point this out. This is what I got for Christmas from Dylan, who is my right-hand man at Somewhere to Share. I could not get anything done if I didn't have Dylan. So I would be remiss if I went through this whole video series without thanking Dylan for being the backbone around here. Uh, it's a Somewhere to Share logo clock. So it's in my videos now. Super nice. I love it. So it is now day 7. Man, we've done 2 chapters of reading. We've done several days of prep work, and so let's just dive into what we're doing today on day 7. Day 7, just gonna jump on over here. Students are gonna draw pictures to describe the legend of the axolotls in their aperitivos. So today they're gonna review what we learned about why Xolotl converted himself into an axolotl and by drawing some pictures. So that'll be their little aperitivo today. For a quick brain break, we're going to play Over My Head. We're just reviewing that vocabulary. And if you remember back to that first day, I told you that you can play with you leading with the vocabulary, like holding the cards up to your head. This is, if you didn't watch the introductory video, I'm going to give a very quick. So we have the deck of Over My Head cards. You've already printed them out, laminated them. They're all set to go. You hold the deck up to your head. The kids do the gesture. You guess what they are. This is a game from Valentina Correa, Profe Valentina, awesome elementary teacher. Great ideas for any level of teacher. So definitely check her out as well. Um, Students will gesture the word and you say it. But now we're getting ready to start chapter 3. We've had some exposure to these words over the last few days. So this is the fun time. Do around with you playing and then ask for a couple student volunteers and they can come up with the deck of cards and hold them up and the students will do the gestures and their classmates will guess the words. It is so much fun to watch them do it because they're starting to really know these words. So definitely recommend warming up your vocab with that today. And then we're going to go into chapter 3, La voz en las alas. We do have a link so you can check out more on reading with your class. I'm going to say this is a really great chapter to do the audiobook because when he recorded my book, the voice artist had some friends help out. And so there are different voices in the chapter. And so it's a nice rest for your voice. And it's a nice way to get different voices in your classroom. So this might be a good day to have the audiobook read with your students. What I do when I'm doing the audiobook is the same. I don't want to go through a whole chapter without pausing, but I'm going to play the audiobook as they follow along in their readers and to make sure that they're still focused. Because again, if you have the audiobook playing and them looking at their readers and you're not doing any engaging of them, they may float off into the void, whatever they're thinking about in their head. So just stopping now and then, and maybe every paragraph, or if you come to a part that's a little harder to understand, when you come to the rhyme, the voice in the waves is going to give Shuli a little rhyme to remember for how to find what he needs to find. So when you get to that, pause and talk about it. So it's definitely a fun way to use your audiobook, but don't forget that for me, I sit at my desk with my book and they have their books and I just pause the audiobook and ask the questions. Then I press play again on the audiobook when they're ready to roll again. And then our follow-up today is the unfair game. If you are familiar with Somos, if you're familiar with our Way Yes units, this is a Somos credit game, but we included a lot in our Way Yes units because we also love it as well. I use it in a lot of our reader teacher guides, both the ones that I have on Wayside and it's here. And this one, it's just a lot of fun. I like it because it's unfair, and that means same with Nellie's hula hoop cat game yesterday when you don't know the whole game who's going to win. Like if you have a team in a game and they're winning by 50 the whole time, it's easy to check out because you know your team is not going to win. If you have a game that's a little unfair where your team could still win based on, how the points fall, that is when it's really engaging the whole game through for students. So I like this. So the unfair game, we do have a game board included in your slideshow. So when you get down to the bottom, you'll just You can read more about the unfair game here. Here's our slideshow. Remember, it's clickable. So you're going to click on the question number, and that'll take you to the question. You'll see the question. When they're done discussing, click the slide to reveal answer, reveal their answer. They'll reveal their answer. You click again, and it'll show the correct answer, and then they'll pick correct or incorrect. That will lead you to a page asking them if I want to keep or gift their points to another team. So basically, the unfair game can be, and Somos uses it a lot as an introduction to cultural things where they don't really know the answers and they're trying to work together as a class to guess. And that's how they're learning the cultural things. In this one, it's not. In this one, it is a review game. So they should know the answers. They decide what their answers. They pick a number on the board to get their question. They answer the question together. They decide then, do they want to keep or give away their points? They're trying to stay the closest to zero that they possibly can. So in the first round, everybody's going to want to give away their points. They're not going to want to go above or below zero. After that, it becomes very strategic because if you've been given 10 points, you're going to want to try and take some points for your team to lower that score. There are positive and negative totals on the board. Very, very fun game to play with class. So the option is if you don't want to try and play unfair game, if your students have negative feelings about unfair game because it is unfair, you're welcome to do those same questions as a worksheet as the follow-up. But we would encourage you if you haven't ever dived into some of these games before. That's what book club is for. This is an environment where we're here to support each other and to answer questions. And if you're worried this is day 6 and you're worried about, tomorrow is day 7, how am I going to play the unfair game? Now we have a Facebook group. We have a lot of supportive people who are doing book club at the same time. So get out of your shell a little bit. If you are not comfortable doing games, this might be the time to try. Also, we included a third option. It's called Team Riddle Race. Teams are going to race to solve a series of questions or clues based on the story. They're going to collaborate to earn points and unlock a final secret message from the spirit in the book. So this may be if you're familiar with Unfair Game and you want to try something different. Beforehand, all you need to do is divide your class into 3 to 5 teams, and we've created the task cards, but if you want to use it with anything else, you need 6 to 8 task cards with questions or riddles. And you'd need a final riddle. Ours are all here in the task cards. We also gave you an answer key. You can print the task cards separately on a sheets of paper, or you can just project them one at a time. So the students are going to be in teams. Every team receives task card 1, or you can display it on the board. They work together to answer it using their reading, what they read today. And once they finish, they raise their hand and check with you and see if it's an answer key. If you have a sub, this is a great follow-up because the sub can easily look at the answer key and tell them if they're correct. The first team to finish gets 2 points and every other team gets 1 point. If they're correct, they get the next task. So task 2. If not, they have to retry on task 1. When all of them have completed all the tasks on the task cards, they get the final riddle or message. And the first team to solve everything wins. You can set to make it pressure. You can set a timer, 20-minute mark. Every team has to solve all the task cards. There's your little answer key for the task cards. That's day 8. We're done. So decide what's the game, what's the follow-up going to be for you today. I can't wait to see in the Facebook group what you decide to do. And we're going to set up separate days. You can ask any question just in general in the Facebook group, but we will have discussions targeted at each day so that if you want to just be discussing day 7, you can go to day 7 and you'll be able to discuss that stuff with the people who are doing it that day too. Thank you so much for hanging out with us.